take me through the process in kind of from a professional perspective of the decision to send you down here and what it took for you to make it down here and why you decided to come cover this.
Well, I was driving over to the Eagles news conference Monday where they were going to announce the departure of Andy Reid, and I called my sports editor and said, look, Chip Kelly is being identified as the leading candidate for this job and other jobs. Unlike some of these other candidates, he has a game this week. He's going to be available, to talk to, and if he is the leading candidate, we need to know more about him. Oregon almost exists on a different planet than Philadelphia in terms of media. I barely know what Chip Kelly looks like, so maybe I need to go out there. And he said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So I got here last night, and here I am.
What do you think people in Philadelphia know about Chip and think about Chip?
Well, they know about the uniforms, and they know that the offense is very different. And I think there are a lot of questions about that, how that would translate to the NFL. And also, I think the biggest question from an Eagles perspective is, not the biggest is whether he would take the job. The second biggest, the Eagles have a young quarterback, Nick Foles, who is a rookie. If you wanted to design a quarterback who would be exactly the opposite of what Chip Kelly has at Oregon, it would be Nick Foles, who's 6'6", and ran the slowest 40 of any quarterback at the NFL scouting combine last February. And he has promise. He's thrown for 300 yards twice already in 6 career starts. But would Chip put together an offense that would work with Nick Foles? Would he just want somebody else? The quarterbacks are very, very hard to find in the NFL. They're the most precious commodity, probably. So do you just tear that up and start over? What would be the... I didn't feel like I could ask Chip like that today. I don't think he would have taken well to that question. But I would love to, after the game, get a chance to ask him what he thinks of Nick Foles. And I think everybody wants to know what his offense would be in the NFL. It's so different from anything. Maybe Washington, with a very unique quarterback in RG3, is running something a little bit similar, but nobody's really doing what he's doing in the NFL right now.
I know you mentioned that Philadelphia, the organization isn't very open about who their candidates are, but what is the sense of how much interest there is from Philadelphia in Chip Kelly?
Everybody else in the league, all the other personnel directors and agents and scouts and people all say, the Eagles want Chip Kelly. Now, how these people really know this is something I often ponder. I don't think the Eagles go around telling them, but this is what everyone says. Chip Kelly, Bill O'Brien, the Penn State coach, who is in the Philadelphia market, already. Those are the two biggest names. They're also going to talk to the team chairman, Jeffrey Lurie, spoke Monday at length about, they're going to talk to coordinators. They're going to try to talk to everybody. They don't really have a time frame. If you're talking to a coordinator for a team that ends up in the Super Bowl, it can be February. But I don't think with Chip, one thing that really interests me is obviously this is not going to be something that stretches into February. He's going to make a decision like next week, one assumes, So they might not be able to take their sweet time and interview everybody in the world if they want Chip. So we're real interested in seeing, how the fact of his availability, presumably after Thursday night, plays into what could be a very lengthy or a very brief process, depending on, who comes into play.
So Chip's a brash guy. He's been asked about the NFL multiple times over the past month, and he shrugs it off. How do you handle being from Philadelphia, coming here to cover this Fiesta Bowl, but your story is Chip going to the NFL? How do you weigh how to ask him about that?
Well, I asked a couple questions. I had no idea. I came into the news conference today unsure of, how it would come up and if I would ask any questions. I ended up asking a couple of questions about his offense and about its adaptability to the NFL, and he didn't seem to take umbrage at that. So I was pleased. I was relieved that he didn't demand that I be thrown out of the room or something because I said I was from Philadelphia. I'm playing it by ear. This is a new thing for me. Andy Reid was in Philadelphia for 14 years. I've covered the Eagles 10 years. So I've never covered a coaching search. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here. And, I think I told you before we went on camera, I hope the Eagles hired Chip Kelly because I went to a lot of trouble to come here.